Hello everyone, and now welcome to game 1 in a series on Shining Waters between Infi versus XioKai. XioKai spawning as the light blue undead on the bottom left hand side of the map. I will be speeding things up to... Actually, no, let's slow it down a little bit. I have not cast a game on this map, so I'm not quite sure what to expect here on Shining Waters. Let's take a look at the creep camps. It looks like there's a number of orange and yellow creep... or orange and green creep camps nearby. And with an undead versus an orc matchup, most of the time people start with those green creep camps just because they don't have militia, they don't have Ancient of Wars that allow them to abuse their infrastructure in order to get higher up in level. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this is an orc versus undead matchup, and already we're looking at something a bit unorthodox by Infi. Infi opening up with a Farseer instead of the typical Blade Master. What do I expect from this particular Farseer? I expect the Farseer to summon some Spirit Wolves and really try and put pressure on these Acolytes. Now, because of the lack of early dispel, say, compared to Night Elves, and the exposure of these Acolytes on this haunted gold mine, it's going to be very difficult for XioKai to keep this well protected. On top of that, because of the additional targets caused by the Farseer, the 2 Spirit Wolves, as opposed to, say, 1 Water Elemental, things can get pushed back very quickly. On top of that, the Farseer can probably sit right here and then summon Spirit Wolves facing this direction to summon them behind this wall. That's really what we're going to be looking at here, as the Spirit Wolves are now already being summoned. I don't know if they're really going to be able to do any serious damage, as the Crypt Fiend is now out on the field. Death Knight will be popping up in just a moment, but the Spirit Wolves are going to be a big indicator that something is not right. All right, let's go ahead and take a look. There goes the Spirit Wolves. The Spirit Wolves are going straight after the Acolytes. Acolyte will have to try and run away. Death Coil should be coming in momentarily by the Death Knight. No, the Ghouls and the Crypt Fiends are doing a good job here. So each of the Spirit Wolves are going after a separate target. There's a Death Coil to save one, as the Acolytes will need to be trained. All right, the Acolytes are still running around in a bit of a mess there. There's a second Death Coil, as the Spirit Wolf does get taken down. Early pressure, but the Crypt Fiends are now already out. And with all that said and done, nothing is really going to come of it, as all the Acolytes are still up with an extra one for XioKai, just in case the Spirit Wolves and the Farseer comes back. Now, this is not going to be very, very easy for Infi to really put down any early pressure. Yes, the Spirit Wolves could get some damage onto these units, and oh, there you have it, the resummoning of the Spirit Wolves, but the Spirit Wolves only have 200 hit points each, meaning that they do fall relatively quickly from the piercing damage of those Crypt Fiends. On top of that, the Death Knight deals a pretty nasty blow as well at this point, as Infi is having a difficult time trying to steal any experience. Now, I really hope that Infi is rewarded for this a little bit of unorthodox play, but the micro and the execution is just not going for him. XioKai definitely has an advantage here, as we see skeletal minions pulling back and a Death Knight who is awfully close to level 2. Farseer now making a move back to the top right side, but are we already at Stronghold? Yes, we are. We are going into a Shadow Hunter, and we are going into a Bestiary. Now, Infi did see a large number of Crypt Fiends from his opponent, and he has to, or I have to wonder if we are going to see Wind Riders. Wind Riders generally do work out very, very well, as we can see that the Farseer is just coming in here with a lot of harassment. He is stealing a little bit of experience, making it rather difficult. Farseer, however, may get caught between a rock or a tree in a hard place, as the Spirit Wolves deal a little bit more damage once again. Farseer now down to 187 hit points, but somehow staying alive, as the Death Knight really needs those Death Coils for his Crypt Fiends. Those Spirit Wolves do deal a lot of damage in addition to those grunts. The medium armor means 50% bonus damage from the base attack, so instead of dealing, say, 20 damage per attack, it does jump up to 30, and that 30 damage does really add up quickly. XioKai now trying to slip away with those Crypt Fiends, and he looks like he will be able to, but he is still sitting at level 1 on his Death Knight. Shadow Hunter is out, and it looks like the Shadow Hunter and the Farseer are going to go play in the woods together, as they're going to obviously clear some creep camps. What else could I mean? Infi now bringing over the Farseer and the Shadow Hunter here. Are we going to see some healing wave? That is the big question, as the Shadow Hunter has taken a fair bit of damage. Infi being forced to pull back with the Shadow Hunter just a little bit here to make sure that he doesn't get taken out. And while getting a drink of water really adds a lot more silence than I thought it would. Anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at this. One grunt was taken down there, a bit of a surprise, as Infi losing micro control of his units. Farseer getting closer to level 2. Death Knight already at level 2 and well on his way to level 3. As this Troll Trapper will leave him just a bit, well, more than just a bit shy. 69 experience away from level 3. Shadow Hunter now coming in pretty much at full hit points. Farseer, same thing, but does not have a Clarity Potion, so will be low on mana. Shadow Hunter now ready to push in here as the Black Citadel is currently being upgraded. Okay, cancellation right there, very, very fast, as the Halls of the Dead now adding in a bit more damage. Ensnare onto a Ghoul. Ghoul will get taken down. There it goes. In addition to, I believe that was a Slaughterhouse, and another Ghoul may get taken out. 2 Ghouls getting taken down. The Farseer will be very close to level 3 now, as the 3rd Ghoul will most likely give it to him. Death Knight now sitting at level 3 though, so it's going to be a level 3 hero against a level 2 and perhaps a level 1. Lich is out on the field, so it's a level 3, level 1 versus level 2, level 1, as a Death Coil Frost Nova 1-2 punch finishes off the Shadow Hunter before the Scroll of Town portal goes off. Infi really hurting in terms of strategy right now. You can see that a War Mill is being placed down. I don't see a Spirit Lodge, and this does come as a bit of a surprise to me. Most Orc players generally have 2 tier 2 buildings in order to train up the right combination of units, whether it be 2 bestiaries, a bestiary, and a Spirit Lodge, which is the most common, or 2 Spirit Lodges. You can see that the Farseer are going to regenerate or clear out this creep camp pretty quickly, as the Shadow Hunter should be popping out in just a moment. Level 1 heroes do resurrect extremely quickly, as he is now back out on the field, probably very glad he was not at level 2. Death Knight now making his rounds here. We'll see what he picks up. He picks up a Tome of Agility, I believe, as the Raiders now being forced to pull back. Skeletal Minions doing a good job pathing in front of that Raider for just a moment, as the Raider down to 400 hit points will be able to escape. Shadow Hunter now at 2. Farseer sitting at 2. And I am curious as to how this Farseer Shadow Hunter combination is going to work. Normally, you see the Shadow or the Farseer backed up by the Tauren Chieftain, as you need a much tankier hero for that front line. Stomp, very effective in that front line as well, in addition to Shockwave, so both of those are very, very strong, but instead we see 2 backline heroes in that Shadow Hunter and that Farseer. Skeletal Minions are making their way through, as Infi does have this expansion already set up for quite some time now. And with that expansion, he may take that economic lead that he needs oh so badly. XioKai still has the experience advantage lead, and he is already 2/3 of the way to Black Citadel. Meanwhile, we are probably not going to Fortress for Infi. Taking a look down over here, Farseer should get to level 3 off of this creep camp. Shadow Hunter will most likely stay at level 2. There is an enraged water elemental right there getting taken down. And yes, the rogue wizards will end up slowing down all of the melee attacks here, as we see level 3 on the Farseer and the Shadow Hunter not too far behind. Death Knight and Lich sitting at level 3, level 2, not really putting pressure on the expansion, even though that they know that it's there. I'm curious as to what he expects to do, and it looks like it will be the traditional obsidian statues into destroyers. Very, very common play here, but I am curious as to whether or not those destroyers will be that effective. You can see that there is already Kodo Beasts out on the field, Troll Berserkers, not too many grunts, only 3 grunts and a handful of raiders. Those raiders will be able to ensnare down those destroyers and really just trap down those units. The big problem is the number of Crypt Fiends that XioKai has, in addition to the fact that he's going for destroyers. There is really not that much normal damage save for the grunts, and the grunts will end up falling very, very quickly to the focus fire of mana'd destroyers. Meanwhile, back over here, you can see 4 Kodo Beasts, and I'm pretty sure with the spell immunity that the Kodo Beast cannot eat a destroyer even if it's ensnared. I'll have to read up on that. I don't remember seeing it relatively or at any time in the recent past. So that is a lot of Kodo Beasts though. So the war drums do not stack, and if Infi with those Kodo Beasts tries to digest Crypt Fiends, which is probably more likely the case, those Kodo Beasts will then end up slowly digesting those units and really tipping things in the favor of the Orc army. Alright, Ogre Lord gonna get taken down here. There it goes. Claws of Attack plus 12. It was picked up by, I believe, yes, the Farseer, who now has plus 15 attack. Pretty much increasing his damage almost by, I would say, at least 33% there. His base damage. Farseer sitting at 3, Shadowhunter sitting at 3, both of them very comfortable so far. Lich at 3, Death Knight at 4 with a Wand of Mana Stealing, and we are waiting to see what XioKai is doing. If Infi can somehow catch up in the experience game, he'll have a severe advantage as he does have this expansion and a much larger army. 51 over 60 compared to 70 over 70 as a Tome of Intelligence plus 2 off of a Farseer, giving that Farseer even higher damage. Destroyer now looking to finish off this base here, but a Scroll of Town Portal will force everyone to try and escape. And here we go. Wind Riders are here. Raiders coming in with a quick ensnare. Farseer using a Potion of Invulnerability stays alive and is just going after unit after unit. All right, let's take a look at the Speed Scroll now being used. Web not on those Crypt Fiends, and that perhaps was the big surprise there, the addition of these Wind Riders who are now shutting down the Destroyers. Death Knight now being forced to use a Scroll of Town Portal. It looks like the units will be able to escape, but the Kodo Beasts, only two of them ended up starting to digest Crypt Fiends. That is a very big swing in supply. 6 of the 51 supply or food of XioKai's army is currently being digested. That is more than 10% of his standing army, probably closer to 15 if you consider the fact that Acolytes and the Harvesting Ghouls are not part of that army. Death Knight now finishing this Troll High Priest creep camp. Down it goes. Death Knight still sitting at level 4. Meanwhile, Shadowhunter doing a good job healing. The only problem for Infi is that XioKai knows exactly where he is, as those Crypt Fiends are still giving sight on his movements, even if it is rather limited. Ogre Magi now taking a bit of damage over here. Ogre Mauler now giving chase. Wind Riders, 4 of them in the skies, and they are going to quickly take down an Ogre Lord. Ogre Lord now down it goes as Jango of Endurance Aura now being left behind. That means that I guess the no Torrent Chieftain was actually a good call, as the Endurance Aura pretty much negates that fact. Tome of Knowledge, Tome of Intelligence plus 2, both of them being left behind, as the Farseer may try and read them here. No, is it going to be the Shadowhunter? Yes, Shadowhunter instead picking them up, getting a bit more mana. 3 extra mana makes that Shadowhunter, even though he has a primary agility attribute, makes him smarter than he is faster, at least numerically, as Infi now will be forced to try and retreat back home. Orc Burrow 1 now down. Wind Riders coming into play. Frost Nova onto all of these units here, as we can see that the Wind Riders will be forced to back off again. Orc Burrow number 3 down to 1 hit point, and that is random number generator for you. 1 hit point on Infi's Orc Burrow, and I'm sure that will be repaired. XioKai now starting to run out of options in this upcoming fight. He is in a bit of trouble since he doesn't have that expansion and the additional economy of Infi. What is also a little bit disturbing at this point is the fact that XioKai's income is only slightly worse than his opponent. He is currently getting 7 gold a second as opposed to his opponent's 8 because of the difference in upkeeps. Now, if a fight was to happen, Infi knows he would definitely win 9 times out of 10 since he has a much larger army, 85 over 70 compared to 58 over 60. As XioKai now just hiding inside his base hoping for a miracle. What is going to be happening here as the units now ready to come in? Oh, there is a couple of webs onto illusion units, and that is going to eat some cooldown as one raider does get taken, or one wind rider does get taken out. All right, speed scroll being used, and that is to counteract the Nerubian frost or the cold of the Black Citadel, as we now see Infi being forced to back off here. One Kodo does get taken down, and that, I guess, fight did not go in favor of Infi as much as he wanted it to. He doesn't need to attack right now, but I guess he wanted to get out of high upkeep in order to really harvest more gold, and now he is harvesting 14 gold a second compared to his opponent's 7. Purposely getting back into low upkeep could be a smart call here, as he wants to be able to rebuild his army and get the proper composition of units. We'll see if that is the call he chose to make, as XioKai comes in with a level 5 Death Knight, going after an Orc Burrow and perhaps a couple of peasants. All right, there is, what was that? That was a Dark Ritual, I believe, as Chain Lightning now being used by the Farseer to try and chase down a bit of units. Lich still wandering around here, has that Orb of Corruption and Claws of Attack +6. That damage will increase pretty regularly as a Hexed Crypt Fiend gets taken down. We are now running around the map with really nowhere to go. There is an ensnare onto XioKai's Lich, as the Lich may be in a bit of trouble. Are we going to see an engagement? Raider now gets Frost Nova, and here is the battle which may end it all. Farseer taking a far too much damage, now trying to run back. Will it be able to get away? It looks like yes, it will be able to. Meanwhile, now the Shadow Hunter is in trouble. The Shadow Hunter gets up to level 5, and is he going to be able to get Healing Wave off? Yes, he gets Healing Wave off just in time to survive, as the Bat Riders now come into play. All right, there's a Death Coil, no Frost Nova follow-up, as the Wind Riders we're getting some easy free shots onto many of these units. All right, it looks like one destroyer could get taken down. Yes, there it goes. There's a Chain Lightning, and now XioKai gives the GG as Infi takes game number 1. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed game 1. Please stay tuned for game number 2.